Hey there, yogis. You're watching Yoga Merge, and I'm Drinie to guide you into breaking down crescent pose, otherwise known as Anjaneyasana. It is one of the most common standing poses that you'll find, usually leading up into warrior sequences, and I'm about to break it down for you. So go ahead and stand on the top of your mat and actually start first with your feet hips width apart at the top of your mat, okay? Now keep your right foot right where it is. Just make sure that the toes are facing forward, and then you're pressing down firmly on all four corners of your feet. If you're not really sure what that means, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pressing that down firmly, feeling the arch lift up slightly, okay? So you're getting really grounded with that front foot. Now, this back foot, you're gonna step it back and already start first with your knee bent. Now, how far wide should your feet be? They should be about hips width apart. So even if they're apart that way, they're not in line where you can feel really wobbly, okay? You're gonna be about hips width apart. If you're still feeling a little bit wobbly there, then walk it out even more. This front knee that doesn't track or go further than the ankle right there. You want to protect your knees. So just keep it right in line with the ankle. Back knee bends first slightly. You want to squeeze your legs together isometrically. That's going to help you balance and stop those wobbly feelings like you're not balanced very well. Squeezing that energy in towards the center. Now find that your hips, they're square towards the front of the room, the front of the mat. And also just make sure that they're not tipped forward or tipped back too much. They're just nice in line, and a good way to measure that or to just visualize it is to think of your pelvis as a basin of water. Now you don't want water tipping over towards the front, or you don't want it to be tipping over towards the back. You're just keeping that basin of water nice and upright. From that, you can start to straighten the back leg without losing the orientation of your pelvis and your hips. You're gonna feel a lift growing out of your hips, creating length in the sideways, and then you're gonna draw that all the way up towards your fingertips. Your hands are gonna be shoulder width apart, and your arms, when they're lifted, they're not just floppy like this. You want nice integration all throughout the arms, all the way to the fingertips. From that, you're gonna open up the chest, and then you're gonna look up. Okay, so there you are, Anjaneyasana. And then you want to bend into that front knee. Again, not too much, not tracking over the ankle. And then here you are in the full extension of the pose. I'm going to show that to you in different angles. I'm going to go over towards the left side. Left foot forward, right foot back. Starting with the back knee bent. Pelvis nice and aligned. Hips squared forward. I'm going to start to straighten the back knee, back leg, growing long out of my hips, racing my arms, keeping my arms engaged all the way up to those fingertips, and then opening up the heart and then looking up. Here we are. Okay, again, if you're getting wobbly, squeeze the legs in towards the center, and then make sure that your four corners of the front foot are tacking down. Very important as well to make sure that the back heel is lifted. Okay, so there you are, and I'm going to show you one last angle facing you right here so that you can see my kneecap is facing you, my hips are squared towards you, and then I'm lifting up, opening up my heart, looking up. Maybe you can smile. There you go, crescent pose, Anjaneyasana. one little point for you. Sometimes you might see a different variation of this, and that's just simply lowering the back knee down in this variation. Okay, so that's still crescent pose, low lunge, Anjaneyasana. It's just a modification. There you go. I'll see you soon. Hey there, yogis. You're watching Yoga Merge with me, Drinie, and I'm about to break down Warrior III, otherwise known as Virabhadrasana III, that you'll find in usual vinyasa power classes within the warrior sequences. Okay, so you usually enter it you can enter it various ways, but for this purpose, I'm going to enter it from crescent pose, Anjaneyasana. And so I'm stepping my left foot back, and I'm right here in this crescent pose. Okay, so already I'm making sure that my front foot is facing forward. So toes are facing forward, and all four corners of the feet are going to be firmly rooted down onto the mat. That's the only thing that's going to be on the ground in Warrior III, so you want that nice and stable. Having said that, to create more stability, actually open up the toes, fan them. If it helps, lift them off the ground first, and then tack them back down, nice and open as much as possible. Get those yogi toes working. So here I am in crescent pose. And then I'm going to place my hands on my heart center, and I'm going to slowly transfer my weight over towards my front foot. Slide that back foot off of the mat, and I'm going to start to lower my body down to lift this back foot up. So I'm wanting to get nice and parallel to my mat. Hopefully I'm parallel enough to demonstrate that for you guys. But right here, okay, before I even talk about it, let me get out of the pose first. I can go back into it. I just need to explain a few things. So you're kind of like in this T shape, right? So it is all depending on how stable, of course, first you are on this front foot. Now, you want to get that leg ideally straight, but in the beginning, it might not be that easy for you to do. So no worries, create a micro bend in that knee, okay? And if you're working up towards having a straight leg variation, then you can lift the kneecap up, feel the quads turn on, firming the outer right hip. Then you find yourself parallel to the ground. Very important that you find a full lengthening out of the spine. And let's actually go and take it even further. Let's take it out all the way towards the back heel. So the back heel is pressing towards the back of the room, and the toes are pointing down, so that the back leg is actually in an internal rotation orientation. So it's not out here, it's actually right here. I'm going to put my hands down to show you first. So the difference is from here and from here. The difference in this internally rotated orientation is that my hips are level, my kneecap and my toes are pointing down, and I'm lifting up more from my inner thigh. Okay? Now, from that, I'm going to feel my hips centered and squared as well. And I'm also going to feel that my core is turned on, so that my lower ribs are not jutting out this way. They're drawing in. And then I'm going to draw that energy all the way to the crown of the head. Now, actually three different arm variations for you. You could start here. You can start airplane, or then you can further take it to airplane wings, or you could take out to what I think is the hardest variation, arms nice and straight. Now I'm going to go back into it, and I'm going to take it to the other side with my left foot forward. Left foot forward, stepping it back into crescent, And I'm gonna start to shift my weight forward to the front leg, lifting up from the inner thigh, body down, leg up, kicking the heel out, getting parallel as much as possible to the front or to the mat. And I'm here with airplane wings, Namaste prayer position. And this is a little tricky, but here I am, extended variation, warrior three. Okay, so I'm gonna do that facing you in another angle. Taking a breath first, because that's a pretty challenging pose, I'm not gonna lie. Placing down, firmly tacking down on my foot and taking off. Hips are squared, lifting up, and I'm right here. I would like to assume that the crown of my head is facing and jutting out towards you right now, and I'm right here. Okay, so there you have it, warrior three. It is a challenging pose. Keep on doing it, and it's gonna get easier. Keep practicing, yogis. I'll see you soon. Hi there, you're watching Yoga Merge with me, Drinie, and I'm about to break down Virabhadrasana I, also known as Warrior One. It is a very strong standing pose, and you'll really want to get deep into your Ujjayi breath, and your teacher might ask you to hold it for a little bit, maybe 5 breaths or a little bit more. And in this pose, you'd always want to find a point of focus. So I'll get into that in just a bit. Let's talk about the alignment. Okay, so I'm going to step first my right foot facing forward, toes facing forward, 4 corners of the foot grounding down. And from that, I'm going to step my back foot. How much do I step it back? I want to step it as much as I can so that this front knee tracks over the ankle and this back leg is nice and straight. So however wide you need it to be to get that orientation. Now, if you have been practicing for a little while, the ideal alignment for Warrior One is that this front heel aligns with the back heel. So if I were to draw a line, that would be front heel, back heel in one line. But I find that for beginners, this can throw people off balance. They're not balanced that much yet. So if that's you, you could start there and then just check in with yourself. Are you feeling nice and balanced here? If not, then you could step this back foot out a tad bit, maybe a couple of inches. Front foot facing forward, let's get into the back foot. The back foot is out on a 45-degree angle. So go ahead and check. Okay, and then very important as well that you tack down on the outer edge of the back foot. I see some people lifting. You want to ground down there because with the orientation of the back foot, you really want to get nice and stable from the grounding down of that edge. Okay, so get this front knee bent, back leg straight. Let's go all the way up now, and we're into our hips. You want your hips squared towards the front of the room, front of the mat. How you do that? You just first want to manually see if you could draw the right hip back, left hip forward. Or you can also, this is assuming that your right foot is forward, okay? Right foot is forward, you can draw your right hand back. See if you can grab a hold of the outer edge of your left leg. And then with the left hand, grab the outer edge of your right leg. So you'll find that just is a different way of squaring your hips. Once you find your hips are nice and squared, instead of arching the back so much or maybe drawing the pelvis forward, see if you can draw the belly in and then feel the tailbone rooting down towards the mat. Okay, once you have that, feel a lift from the hips. So creating nice length here in the side waist. And then reaching the arms all the way up. Okay, so integration and energy all the way towards the fingertips. This is great right here. In the traditional Ashtanga system, you will bring your hands together to touch. The gaze or the drishti is either forward, ideally in an object or a thing that doesn't move, or you can look up right here. As you lift your arms up, draw the shoulders away from the ears. So feel the shoulder blades go down the back. Okay? Now keep lunging into that front knee. Knee doesn't track over the ankle. Excuse me, the knee doesn't go further than the ankle. You want it right in line. And you're right here. Breathing nice and deep. And even if your legs are apart, you're squeezing them into the center. I'm going to show you on the other side. Left foot facing forward, grounding the hips down. Back foot out in a 45-degree angle. Here we are. And one last angle for you. Facing you right here. You can see that my hips are squared. Body is squared towards front. And I'm right here. There you go. Warrior one. Hey there, yogi. My name is Drinie and you're watching Yoga Merge. I'm about to show you a breakdown of a very common pose in the standing sequence. It is called Warrior II, also known as Virabhadrasana II. It's a very strong pose that strengthens the legs, opens up the hips, creates length and opening from the heart all the way out towards the fingertips, and it also increases your focus and concentration. Sometimes you'll be asked to hold this pose for a while, and it's very important that you keep a nice steady breath and your gaze, your eyes focus on one point, and I'll get to that in just a bit. So, Warrior II. Let's start first at the top of the mat. And just check in with your feet. Your feet are firmly rooted down, all four corners touching the mat. Lift up your toes, open them wide, and then tack them back down. Keep your right foot right where it is, and then step your left foot all the way back. Warrior II, you'd want to keep this front knee bent, okay? Knee right over the ankle. Now, if you draw a line from this front heel all the way towards the back, you'd want it to intersect your back arch, okay? So how wide should your legs be? They should be wide enough that this front knee is bent and the knee is right over the ankle. And the deeper you get into that, the better, as long as it doesn't go past the ankle like that. So you want to keep your knees protected so that you're opening up this whole area, and that's really nice. Back foot out, and it's not exactly parallel to the back edge of your mat. It's skewed in just a tad bit. You're grounding down on the outer edge of that back foot, and you want to keep this back leg nice and straight. So to start, you would have that front heel aligned with the back arch. If you're feeling a little wobbly, then you can maybe step it out just a tad bit. But as much as possible, try to keep that alignment. Now sink deep into your Warrior II, into this nice stance right here. And then have a hold of your hips. You want to keep your hips right in line. So you're not like reaching out that way, and you're not all the way to the back, but your hips, they're just sitting nice and square right there. And moving up, you want to create some space from your hips and your lower ribs, so you're feeling a lengthening action from your pelvis all the way up, opening up the chest, and that straight line of energy goes all the way to the crown of the head. okay? So that means that this is all in line and your shoulders are not reaching forward, which I sometimes see in Warrior II. Get them right in line with your hips, right here. Okay, now from there, we're gonna talk about this line of energy from your heart center all the way out towards the tips of your fingers. So draw the energy all the way out, and again, energize your arms. I see a lot of people just like, try to get that energy all the way towards your fingertips and feel a length and a pull as if somebody's pulling on my back hand, somebody's pulling my front hand forward. It's that much energy created. So my hips, my shoulders are in line, and I'm reaching out. The gaze, the drishti, my point of focus is right on the tips of my front fingers. So I'm right here, okay? Get deep, get nice and deep, bending that front knee just a tad bit. Breathe. Keep lengthening out of the hips all the way to the crown of the head. And then keep breathing from your heart center all the way out towards your fingertips. Shoulders draw away from the ears. They're not up here. But just see if you can just relax them down. And then create some ease in the strong pose. So you want to find a balance in all your yoga poses. Yes, it's a very strong, energetic pose, but you can find the ease, also known as sukha in Sanskrit, and you can do that by softening your face, being aware that your jaw is not clenched, softening that area as well, drawing the breath in nice and deep, flowing through those ujjayi breaths continuously, okay? And that gaze, it's not like you just have that soft gaze on the fingertips. I'll show you now on the other side, left foot forward, right foot back, just checking that my front heel is aligned with my back arch, bending into that, feeling my hips nice and squared right there. My shoulders are directly over my hips, and I'm going to extend my arms out right here. Try to get your arms parallel to the mat. And, you know, if you're new, you might want to have somebody check your alignment. You might want to look in the mirror, or you might even want to take a picture of yourself so you know what you can correct. Also, one little tip right here. I sometimes see that these knees, the front knee buckles in towards the inside. See if you could just draw that out. So the knee is directly over the ankle. Very important. One last angle for you right here, facing you. Warrior II, Virabhadrasana II. Very strong pose. And it's really good to open up the hips. I already feel a nice opening right here. And there you have it. Keep practicing, yogis, and I'll see you real soon. Hi there, it's Drinie, and you are watching Yoga Merge. I am about to break down a standing pose, and it's also a hip opener. It's called Parsvakonasana, otherwise known as side angle pose. You usually enter this from a warrior sequence, particularly Warrior II. So I'm going to start in Warrior II. My front foot is facing forward. All four corners of that foot are pressing down. The arch of that foot is lifting up, okay? My toes are actually pressing down. They're spread out as wide as possible, and they're spreading out. And I'm gonna step my back foot out, so much so that this back foot can lengthen and straighten, and this front knee is tracking over the ankle, okay? So just check that this front heel aligns with the back arch. Okay, from that, the outer edge of the back foot presses down. Now that's really gonna get you nice and stable. Side angle pose has variations. If you're a beginner and you don't want to go all the way down, you can always place your forearm on your knee right here. Now, if you do this variation, okay, you just want to make sure that you're not dumping into the shoulder, but instead you're pressing away with your forearm, creating space from your shoulder and your ear. Side angle pose is really good to lengthen this, in this case, with my right foot forward, the whole part of this left side. So I'm pressing down on the back heel and I'm feeling a diagonal line of energy from the sideways all the way up towards the fingertips. My palm is facing down. The gaze, the drishti, is all the way towards the hand, okay? Now, once you're here, you want to make sure to rotate this left rib cage up and this right rib cage under, okay? And also wanting to create some space right here. So in your hips, so you want to open, lengthen. You're here, stage 1. Stage 2, if you want to take it a step further, your teacher can either tell you to place your hand inside your foot, in which case if you don't feel like you have that reach, you can always place your hand on a block and you can always change the level of the block based on your needs. I don't have a block right now, I don't feel like I need it, so if that's you, you can place your hand right down towards the inner arch of your front foot. If you're taking that variation, you're going to use your shoulder to press the knee out, but you're going to let the knee resist back, okay? And then you're going to have this right sit bone. When that happens, with your shoulder pressing the knee out, knee pressing back, sometimes the hip, the right hip in this case, juts out. Now, just be aware if it's doing that, and instead plug it back in and feel this right sit bone hug in. Okay, so I'm gonna actually face you so you know what I'm talking about. So I'm right here, my side angle hand inside the foot variation. Sometimes my hip might go out like this. I'm gonna plug it back in. It might even be good for you to manually adjust that right hip. Draw this left hand underneath your leg and actually scoop it under. Okay, well, once you have that, bend deep into this front knee. Remember, knee over ankle doesn't go any further than that. Press the back edge of the foot down. Start to rotate the ribs. Right rib under, left rib up. And then create this nice side angle pose all the way towards the fingertips. And then a gaze all the way down, all the way up towards these left fingers. So there you go, side angle pose. I am going to show you a different angle. And we'll be facing you right here. Let's change with the left foot forward. Front heel, lines with the back arch, front toes facing forward, outer edge of the back foot, pressing down firmly. This left hand is going to come inside the left foot. I'm going to bend into that left knee nice and easy. Press the knee out, hug the left hip under, and start to extend. Now, while I'm here, I'm going to show you another variation. Your teacher might ask you to place your hand outside the foot. Again, if you can't reach it or you need a little bit more height, you can always grab a block and choose the level that you need to suit you and your practice. And it's the same thing pretty much. The only thing is that your hand is outside and I'm right here. This is so good for lengthening the side body and also creating some opening in your hip area. It's good for your hips, good for your side body, and it lengthens and creates space. Keep practicing, yogis. I'll see you soon.